Hi, I'm Amy, and this is the Half Caff podcast. This might be episode 15. I'll put it on the screen if I don't remember. I'm not going to remember a lot of things because I'm only barely prepared for this podcast. But I've been totally wanting to talk to you guys, and conditions aren't right, and this and that, and it's really easy to just try to make everything so perfect that you never get around to it, right? So I'm trying to avoid that. Just go with it. So I am outside, finally podcasting outside because summer is finally here-ish. It comes and it goes, which honestly I'm okay with because I don't love the heat. And we don't get, blaring heat up here in the Pacific Northwest too much, but sometimes it gets high, and it definitely gets high for me. Anyway, so it is overcast right now, which is perfect, but it's also 10:30 on the 4th of July, so happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July, anyway, for those of you in the U.S. So I just cannot get myself up early enough to record when it's quiet. So there's going to be planes and cars and probably neighbors mowing their lawn, and I really hope I manage to dodge most of that. So let's get started. First, coffee. I'm amazed it's actually still warm. This is a new mug. I do not remember the artist. S something. I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, she's a local artist, and I saw this in this little gallery in shops in our town, and I saw a lot like this, like the wave pattern and the spirals, again, of the spirals. And she didn't have this exact thing. She had a teapot that was amazing, but I'm like, I won't end up using that. So I need something else. I need a mug, even though I have too many. So I got this online from her instead, but oh my gosh, I love it. It's so pretty. I think there's a fish in there somewhere. Can you see? Yeah, there it is. And on the same side. It's so well made. It feels really good in your hands. It's kind of heavy, but not too heavy. And dishwasher and microwave safe, because honestly, I don't get anything that can't go in the dishwasher except for pans, because I can't be bothered. Anyway, so, hi. Nice to see you. Finally, I even went away for the weekend and didn't podcast because I don't know, I didn't feel like it or something. I was in a weird mood. Anyway, so I'm finally just here in my backyard podcasting on the 4th of July. Hello. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is not a new make. This is the Dingley Dell Tee by Isabel Kramer. I forget when I finished this. It was either this year or last. I think it was this year. I'm not sure. Last year? Time. I still love this very much. It's a great fit. It is, I made it with a 3-color kit from Wollonvine, of Wollonvine yarns. She doesn't do kits very often, but I think she did a shawl. She had a shawl that she made this kit for, and so she brought them back briefly. And I loved the colors together, so I got them. So this is Blood Moon, Rosewater, and History Bound, I'm pretty sure. And I think this was on her footsie base. It might be her Nouveau base, but I think this was actually footsie. So it has a little bit of nylon in it. It's comfortable, it's light, it's definitely great to wear in the summer, especially our summers. So I have really loved it and been wearing it a lot this summer. Literally the only problem I have with this, and it's really a me problem, is I'm trying to sit up so you can see, is this little dip in the color in the stripes. And if you've watched my channel before, we've talked about that, how a V-neck will kind of when you come back and do the collar, to cinch everything in. I don't know if an I-cord would do it as much as ribbing would. I don't know. I haven't ever done an I-cord neck, but maybe there's one in my future if I redo the Cumulus tee. Anyway, so a lot of times if you're doing any kind of stripe, even if it's low or whatever, it'll just kind of pull up when you do the V-neck. It'll pull up right in the middle here and cinch everything up. So I did try to block that out, and it's definitely better. But it still has that little divot. So it's really minor. I don't notice it. Well, I notice it. I don't think it's super noticeable or whatever, but boy, I would love to figure out how to fix that problem. Yeah. I was just wondering if that does that there too, but that's my sleeve. Okay, anyway. If you have not made a dingley dell tee, highly recommend it. Fantastic pattern. I believe I remember there's really good size ranges. I just thought the attention to detail was really nice. I remember being really impressed with this pattern. Anyway, it's also fun to look at the projects because so many people have done so many different things with the striping. The designer originally did this in 2 stripes, so I incorporated 3, but she's really great to tell you like how to start your stripes and how to count them out and stuff. I'm not sure I followed any of that advice. I probably just did my own thing. But anyway, I remember planning very detailed though how I wanted to do the stripes as far as like how many rows and where it would end up and stuff. And it did work out really well. I think I ran out of I only did 1 stripe, well 2 stripes of this one, and I did 3 stripes of history bound. So I was afraid I was going to run out of something, so I kind of ended up doing this special stripe in the V too, and I also did it at the bottom, just left my shirt up, at the bottom, and that was kind of an effort to give a little bit of pizzazz, but also because I think I was running out of something, so it totally worked out great. Anyway, as you can tell by the episode title, we're going to be talking about parasols. So this knitting, and I have one other knitting, but I have literally just been working on parasols other than that the entire time. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen I made a parasol, my first parasol I mounted. In fact, I'll show you that. My first parasol I've already mounted on a frame. This is just a used frame I got from the thrift store. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't, because you have to make sure you get a kid size and that it's not like, you know, neon green. I mean, I can paint that, but anyway. So this one worked out really well. Let me show you what it looks like. Open as much as I can. Dude. So, I might have pictures on my Instagram. Yeah, I'm probably sure I have pictures on my Instagram of the sun going through this. It's so pretty. I mean, you can't see any of the color, but because it's all shaded, but it's super pretty. Anyway, so I mounted one of my parasols a while ago, and I've been collecting parasol frames, but I decided I wasn't going to mount any of the new colors I was doing because I had this like idea in mind of planning like an Instagram reel or something where I wanted to take all the colors and lay them out on top of each other, kind of like a little, you know, reel, little movie. And I did that. So it's on my Instagram if you want to go see it. I thought it turned out really well. I was actually just going to stack pictures on top of each other so that it would just look like it was just color changing automatically. And I may still do that because I took the pictures for it, but I ended up taking a reel where I was just peeling them back, and I thought that was really cool too. So it's fun to see if you want to go see that. But anyway, I didn't mount any of them in the meantime because I wanted to do that, and I couldn't do that when they were mounted. So now that I've done that, I am working on other colors, but I've got plenty of colors to wrestle with. So I'm going to start mounting them in time for a fair I'm doing in like 2 weeks. So I better get busy. So I wanted to show you all the colors I've done. All of these are, so I do to row about 52 of the pattern that I'm working on, which is called Mandala Madness by Helen Shrimpton. It's a great pattern, very detailed, and there's videos on YouTube that you can get that are for each section too. So you can, I mean, it's almost fail-proof. It's fantastic, and it's a free pattern as well. So I mean, perfect. So I did all of these, almost all of these, to row 52. Because I ran out of yarn. So I continue to use this same brand of yarn for the most part, which is Cotton King's Sultan. Most of it is Sultan Shadow. One of them is just Sultan. And then I just use the various colors. And so that gets me to about row 52. And then I do like 2 or 3 rows of just single crochet to kind of like strengthen up the end and tidy everything up so that I can finish and mount it. Important tip to remember, leave enough yarn to tie your mandala to the parasol frame if you're going to do that. So make sure you don't run out of that. Although with these especially, any black thread will probably do because they're all black on the edges. Okay, so one of them I did to row like 56 or 58 because I used I hope I pronounced this right, the Scheepjes Whirl. And so it was interesting to work with the 2 different ones. So Sultan is 100% cotton, and Scheepjes is a blend. So I actually kind of just took notes for myself as like the differences in working with them, and I'll get to that in a minute if you're interested. So here actually is I did a rainbow one. This was the Scheepjes. I don't remember the color. Let's see if I wrote it down. Jumping Jelly. Color 759, but rainbow basically. So this is the one I did with extra rows in it. You can't tell though because it came out about the same size, and that is because this is a fingering, whereas Cotton Kings is a sport. You can't really tell too much when you're working with it, but it does add up. So I got a few extra rows in this, but it's definitely more condensed because it's the fingering. It's a smaller weight yarn. So this is the rainbow. These are all blocked already, so you can see all the laciness open up. This is the purple. I think I've shown you this before. I think that's one I had done last episode, although honestly, that's the second purple. So I've done 2 pinks and 2 purples. The rest of these are so far one of a kind. Here's the teal, green, blue fade. Here is the pink. This is my second pink because of course the first one is on the parasol I just showed you. This is a rose, and it fades into that black. Show you some of the detail on that. Here is the yellow. It's very bright, but perfect for summer. When I was working this, I wasn't so sure how I liked the yellow blending with the black, but when it's done, I like it. And last but not least, this is the Sultan, not shadow, just Sultan. So it fades to a gray, but the other ones don't all fade to a gray. I think they fade to different mixtures. It's so funny. I'm seeing the reflection of this as well as the image on screen, and I can't tell which is real. That's cool. So I like this one a lot. But I like them all. I think maybe my favorite is the green, but I don't know. They're all fantastic. So what do I want to share about doing that? I know not all of you are crocheters. Hopefully some of you are. I knit and crochet on this channel, and there's almost always something of each. Pretty sure I could say always, maybe. I try to have both knit and crochet on my needles or hook at all times so that I can switch if I get bored or if if I need to stretch in some certain way, because it's probably not different enough, but the switch between the muscles or the way I use my hook versus my needles can sometimes make a difference. So I'll switch from one if I'm working too much on the other. So usually there's something for everyone. Anyway, so let me tell you the difference between Scheepjes Whirl, which is comes in cakes, and Cotton Kings Sultan or Sultan Shadow, which also comes in cakes. So Scheepjes Whirl is 60-40 cotton acrylic, whereas Cotton Kings is 100% cotton. So that's, good to know if you, want natural fiber, or if you're concerned about that at all. The acrylic, I'm assuming it's kind of like the blend, but it might also be the finish. I don't know about that kind of thing. But anyway, I will say that the Scheepjes just had a nicer feel. It definitely felt, I don't know if I'd say softer, maybe smoother. Not that cotton's necessarily too toothy, but it is just a little bit rougher. Neither one bothered me. It was just different. I did like they do color changes a little bit differently. I think it basically has the same effect. So in Cotton Kings, first of all, there are 6 strands in Scheepjes, and they're all twisted together. In Cotton Kings, there are 4 strands, and they're not twisted together. So they are actually separate as you pull them. And yes, sometimes when I'm working with it, I ended up like leaving one strand behind and had to fix that. It's not fatal at all, but that does happen. I'm used to it, but it was kind of nice to not have to worry about it when I was working with the Scheepjes. Let's see, how do I say there is a sense with the Cotton Kings that as the color fades, that I just like the fade better in Cotton Kings. So they'll basically replace one strand with the next slightly darker shade. And so it is very, very subtle. And you'll still kind of notice it as far as when it changes, but it's subtle. Whereas with the Scheepjes, the color is just like sort of twisted in because it's all one strand, right? I mean, it's not, but it's all twisted together, so it appears as one strand. So like with Cotton Kings, when the color changed when I didn't want it to in one instance, I was actually able to just snip that one strand off for just a short period of time and control where the color change happened rather than just having to discard all the yarn. So that was kind of nice. I hope that makes sense. There is more yardage in Scheepjes, a significant amount, like over 200 yards more. So it's 1,093 yards of fingering weight, whereas the Sultan has 874, okay, so it's like 874 yards of sport weight. So as I said, I was able, there is overall more yarn because I did the same pattern in both, and I was able to go a little bit further, like about 5 rows, which is significant in a project this size. 5 rows of the Scheepjes, I was able to go 5 rows further in the Scheepjes. So hands down, there's more yarn, but not as much as there would be if they were the same weight. So it a little bit balanced out. Okay, I don't remember what I was saying because my camera cut off, but I think I'm done talking about the parasols anyway. So go visit my Instagram if you want to see that reel. I'll put all the pattern information down below, and I've just been working on that kind of nonstop. I use an E-hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter, and I've already talked about all the yarns I use. There is one different one I'm working on now, but it looks kind of all the same, and it's really just sort of like a light gray fading to black. So that's pretty, but I didn't bring that one out. They all look the same. The next and actually last thing I have to show you is some knitting. So this is I'm keeping this in my bag by I don't remember who, but it's awesome. Complete with cat hair. All the things I love on it. Well, not that into snakes, but it's fine. Anyway, where was I? So this is a pattern, a knitting pattern called Roseroot. I don't know, this one just struck me. I was kind of looking for a summery pattern, although I don't think I'm really using a summery yarn, so, whoops, whatever. I wanted to make something with Knitwear Sport, which I used for Frog and Toad, and love that yarn. So obviously I made Frog and Toad with that yarn, but I wanted to make a garment because it seems like it's just, I love all their colors. I'm trying to untangle my tail from the rest of my project because I have an unnecessarily long tail. Anyway, what was I saying? So I had used it for Frog and Toad, yes, but I wanted to use it on a project because there's so many pretty colors I wouldn't end up using in Frog and Toad, obviously. And it was hard to pick, but I ended up picking kind of like a gorgeous, like deep mauve, kind of purpley brown, which are my favorite browns. So the kind of like, yeah, more red browns or purple browns versus, why is this so hard? Versus like yellow browns, if that makes any sense. Okay, I'm gonna just keep on untangling this. This is way harder than it should be. Okay, seriously. A mess. Anyway, I'm not getting this out a ton because I'm doing all those mandalas. Although I think this is the one I'm working on now is going to be the last one for just a little while. I have a couple more cakes left, but I think that's enough. 8 or whatever. 8 is enough, right? You remember that show? No, just me. Okay, so this is kind of squinched up, but let me see if I can show you a little bit of the pattern. It's lace and it's on a sport weight, so obviously it's going to be a little difficult to really show. Let me see if I can kind of stretch it out there. So this is actually top down, so I mean it would actually go like this, and so it's like kind of like a little budded flower. Kind of has like magnolia and magnolia mini vibes, the magnolia sweater that I recently did a bunch of. Different, but it's the same kind of vibe. It appeals to me. So the Roseroot I'm doing the top lace right now. It just has top and bottom lace and it's sleeveless. So that's why I was like, oh, it's a good pattern for summer, even though I think maybe this might be a little bit heavier than I would have done, but we're going to see what happens. That's how it goes. So Nua is a wool, yak, and linen blend. And this is the color Chalk and Plum. The odd combo, which is color number 9815. So I don't know how much definition there's going to be either, because you can see that it's got like a heathered thing going on. So I don't know if this was the best yarn to choose, but it's pretty. I think it'll be nice. We'll see how it is when it blocks out. It's mostly because I just wanted to work with the yarn. So anyway, I thought I might finish this for the fair too, because I was kind of trying to think of like summer things to sell, but I don't know. We'll see. It could happen. I doubt it. So that is Roseroot, and that is the only knit I have on my needles right now. That's not entirely true. I always have a sock going. That is a sock I think I've shown you before, and honestly, it's car knitting, and I never end up knitting in the car because like school is over, and yeah, usually I don't have anybody I'm sitting there and waiting for in the car. I'm usually off and running with them. So that one's kind of languishing. I'm on the second sock though, but I think I'm about ready to turn the heel. So still a bit to go. But I do think that's the only thing that I'm really actively working on. I thought I would actually check in on my Make 9. So I don't know, maybe voiceover Amy will do that, but I'm trying to think of what I've been working on. I feel like I'm halfway through my Make 9 for this year. Not that I'm obsessed with it or anything. If I don't finish, I don't finish, but it kind of just occurred to me that, I have done a fair number off that Make 9. There's still some great colorwork socks that I need to do. There's a sweater for my husband. That one will take quite a while, so we'll see. And I've kind of been obsessed with this pattern. It is by, I'm trying to remember her name. I'm sure a lot of you know her. She makes these gorgeous, like vintage looking patterns in just like the lightest of lightest yarns. She just came out with a book. It's not in English. I'll put it down here because I'll look it up, and I'm sure you all will know her. But she made this like little hobbit vest, and it's for I think it's either in limited sizes or it's just like women's sizes or something. But I'm just thinking that would look so adorable on my husband. I don't know if he wants to be adorable, but it's really cute. I love the pattern. I love it for women too. It's totally cute. If my daughter would wear it, maybe I'd make it for her, but I kind of just want to make it. It looks so cute. So that's not on my Make 9 either, but it looks adorable. I don't remember what else is on my Make 9, so maybe I'll have to check in with you more formally another time. But I guess that's it. That's all I have to show you. Maybe this is a short episode, or maybe I babbled to fill in the gaps. But either way, hopefully the ambient noise wasn't too much for you. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye.